Every race, every investment gain, and every step towards a better future was taxed away. And that was my reality. And for years, I accepted it because I thought I had no other option. But there is a way out. A way to legally keep more of what you earn and live a better life and achieve real financial freedom. And this is my story. How I went from being trapped in a high-tax system to living in a place where I get to keep what I earn. And if you ever felt like taxes are holding you back, keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you will know the exact steps I took to escape and how you can do the same. Hi, I'm Zach, founder of Emifast, and for years I lived in Belgium. And it really looked like that this government really had the mission to take all my money away. I mean, as much as possible even. Because I played by the rules. I worked hard and I still felt like I was barely getting ahead. If you're also tired of seeing your hard-earned money disappear into endless taxes, then this video is for you. I'm going to share my journey, how I legally reduced my tax burden, moved to a tax-friendly country, and how I built a life of financial independence. And don't worry, this isn't some get-rich-quick scheme or a shady loophole. Everything I did is 100% legal and you can do it too. So let's dive into it. It all clicked to me when I received a tax bill of 115,000 euros. It was tax season, so I had just finished calculating how much I owed. And the number on the screen felt like a punch to my gut. Over 50% of my income was just gone. And I had done everything right. I worked hard, I saved my money, I invested wisely, but no matter what I did, the system kept taking more. And then I started looking at the numbers. So the income tax was 50%. It's the highest bracket in Belgium. Capital gain tax up to 30% on my investments. The inheritance tax in Belgium is 27 to 50%, and that's when I realized this wasn't just about me. The system was, and it still is, designed to keep people stuck, and the more you earn, the more they take. The rules are not built to reward hard work, and it bothered me because taxes keep entrepreneurs small. It kept me small. And I also noticed the rich, they don't deal with it, with high taxes. They move, they relocate, and they find places that actually support financial growth instead of punishing it. And that's when I learned about tax-friendly countries, places with no income tax, no capital gain tax, and no inheritance tax. And now, let me be clear, I didn't wake up one morning and I moved to Dubai. It took planning, it took research, and a deep understanding of how tax laws actually work. And here's what I found. First, setting up a business was actually pretty easy. Unlike other countries where you need to invest millions, in Dubai you can actually start a business with as little as $10,000. And the second, I could legally become a tax resident by meeting all the requirements, and I was able to shift my tax residency and avoiding being double taxed. And I will explain more about this in 10 seconds. Now, lastly, the quality of life was incredible. Sunshine, safety, luxury, and no crime. And one of the most important things that I discovered is that one of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to escape a high tax country is confusing residency with tax residency. And let me break it down. Residency is actually nothing more than your legal right to live in a country. And you can obtain it through visas or an investment or a work permit. But just because you live in a country doesn't mean that you are automatically a tax resident. So you also have tax residency. Like I said, this is where the government considers you liable for taxes. And just because you have a visa or a residence in a tax-free country does not automatically exempt you from taxes elsewhere. So how do you legally change your tax residency? Now, to become a tax resident somewhere else, you must prove that your center of life has shifted. Now, governments don't just let you go without proof. So here are the key requirements to establish tax residency in a new country. So first, you need to live in a country for 183 days per year. And a lot of Asian countries like Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, they really require you to spend at least half of the year there physically. Now consider also the most European countries like Belgium and the UK. They will also look at a day test, but more important, they will look at where is the center of your life. So where are all your economical interests? So where do you live? Where is your income sourced? Where is your family live? Where is your home, etc. And in conclusion, it's different per country what the rules are, and based on the country's tax agreements that the rules are made. Here in the UAE, for example, you can be present for 90 days per year, which can be sufficient for a tax residency if you first of all have a UAE residency visa and no tax ties elsewhere. Second thing, having a primary home there or buying it or renting it, just a place that you call home, can strengthen your case. The third thing and the most important step in your financial life is to open bank accounts, register a business, and receive receive income in the new country and make sure you also have some pending pattern there as well. The last thing, and maybe the most important thing, is make sure you cut all ties with your old tax residency country or old tax country. If you still have a home, a business, a bank account in a high tax country, they might still tax you even if you move. So it's very, very crucial. And these steps are so crucial to make sure that you're not just pretending that you're a tax resident elsewhere, but you really are. So I remember as part of my journey, I traveled to different countries to see what worked the best for my lifestyle, and I tried to compare this to my home country, Belgium. And it's really one of the highest taxed countries in Europe. A friend of mine invited me to Thailand, and that was my first culture shock. It's a beautiful country with no tax on foreign sourced income. And of course, as long as you don't remit it to Thailand, it will not be taxed. It is a great digital nomad destination with easy visas. So if you're a digital nomad, you can consider this country, but unfortunately for me, it was not good enough. And after Thailand, I decided to check out Dubai. And I understand immediately this is one of the best places in the world to build and to scale a business. So I decided to set up a company in Dubai, and after a while, I realized I wasn't working just to survive. I was working to grow. I noticed in the first year that my investment grew faster because I wasn't losing money on taxes. And I could really invest in my business without worrying about any capital gain tax. I had the freedom to live the life I really always wanted. And it's not just about the money. I had no more financial stress. I had no more fear of tax hikes. I had no more feeling like I was trapped in a system designed to keep me down. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. And now I know what I hear a lot from my clients. The first thing we hear often is like, you don't need to be like ultra rich to move abroad. And no, of course not. You don't need to have millions. There are many tax-friendly countries and have low-cost residency options. And even sometimes you can have a higher quality of life to a lower cost. Now, the second thing is it's too complicated. And yes, there's a lot of paperwork and there are some things that need to be organized, but experts can help you making this process seamless and easy for you. Like AnyFast, we help people. We help our clients from A to Z with this process. And the last one and the most popular one is, okay, I'll be alone or I'm in my comfort zone or whatsoever. And the reality is you will find your people everywhere. And the question I always ask is your comfort zone really 50K worth per year or even more? Now, I've connected with an incredible network of entrepreneurs, investors, and professionals, all of whom made the move. And now, if you're thinking, this sounds great, but where should I start? I hear you and I can help you. Researching tax-friendly countries for your company, that is the first and the most important step, because you have to understand how the rules work. So talk to an expert, talk to us, and make sure you talk to an expert who really understands what is important for your business. I made this mistake and I don't want that you will make this mistake. Also, understand tax residency rules, an important one, because every country has different rules for tax residency. So make sure you comply legally. And last but not least, consider starting a business. Make sure you use all the many tax-friendly residency options through the business investments, like Dubai, for example. And if you feel trapped by high taxes, you do have options. I did it, and if I can do it, you can do it as well. You are the only one who should be in control of your financial future and not your government. The first question that comes to my mind right now is, if you could live in one country only, what would it be? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe on our channel, and I see you in the next video.